Hi, my name is Brian Atkins, and I am an alcoholic. Sometimes I get really into a subject, sometimes to the point of obsession. Today, I'm obsessed with the Doom Patrol. For those not in the know of who the Doom Patrol are, or why they're patrolling the Doom, I'll give you a quick primer. I think everyone knows who the Teen Titans are, with Robin, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy. And I think it's pretty obvious that Robin used to work with Batman. All the Teen Titans actually have their own backstories from the comics that go back decades, but I need you to focus on Beast Boy for a bit. The team Beast Boy was on before the Teen Titans, and the reason he's always shown wearing that purple and black getup was the Doom Patrol. It gets a little messy on how Beast Boy ended up moving on to the Titans, depending on the continuity and what's considered canon at the time. Sometimes they say he quits, sometimes he leaves on good terms and promises to visit them, and other times it's because he's the only member of the patrol that survived. And that's really the main crux of the Doom Patrol. They die a lot. You wouldn't think it, considering each of the members seems to be immortal in various ways, but in the comics, in their TV show appearances, they just always die. But who are they? First appearing in Greatest Adventures number 80 in 1963, a mere 3 months before the launch of the X-Men comics, the team has gotten constant comparisons to the other series until they were quietly buried from the public consciousness. Doom Patrol is basically the Digimon to X-Men's Pokemon. While one continues to strive long after anyone should really care anymore, the other one sort of vanishes for years only to come back for a short period of time for nerds to be like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then disappear again. Why are the two constantly compared though? This is the Chief, Niles Caulder. Note that he's an old man in a wheelchair and the leader of the team. He's your Charles Xavier for the series. These three superpowered freaks are his team. Each of them have crazy abilities, and the Chief teaches them how to use those powers to fight crime. Very X-Men-like, but there's a major difference I'll bring up in a bit. Let's look at that team. Larry Trainor is Negative Man. He's constantly wrapped in bandages, but can summon a negative spirit from his body that could fly around and destroy machinery. It has super strength, but it can't talk. If Larry and the spirit are separated for too long, they both die. Larry got his powers while piloting a test vehicle through the atmosphere and crashing into the spirit and then crashing the plane. That the first part gave him powers. Crashing an airplane does not give you powers. Please don't try this at home. Rita Farr was an actress known throughout the world, but after a horrible accident, she became Elastigirl. Quick side note, The Incredibles had to license the name Elastigirl from DC Comics, who held the trademark for that name, in order to use it for their movie. To avoid confusion, Rita is now referred to as Elasti-Woman when using a superhero name, but generally the Doom Patrol know each other on a first-name basis, so this barely comes up. Anyway, Rita gains the abilities to stretch parts of her body out, and usually fights crime by changing the size of her body into a giant duplicate of herself. Why she does this while wearing a skirt, though, I have no idea. Seems like an oversight on her part. The trade-off is she has to focus constantly on what she looked like before the accident, or she can melt into a horrifying blob. It's kind of a bad trade-off in my opinion, but still a pretty cool power. Next up is Cliff Steele, or Robotman. Cliff was a NASCAR driver who crashed in a horrible accident, and the Chief saved his life by putting his brain into a robot body. Because of the robot body, Cliff has super strength, super durability, can withstand otherwise life-threatening attacks, and is immune to mind control. Unfortunately, he's also immune to feeling anything. He will never be able to feel raindrops on the skin he doesn't have, and he can never eat or drink anything again. It's not brought up much, but presumably he also has to worry about the battery running out. The rest of the team kind of changes in and out, with Mento sometimes being a team member, but he's kind of a dick and blames Beast Boy for things beyond his control, which is why he quit in Teen Titans. Mento and Rita were essentially Beast Boy's adopted parents before everything happened or whatever. So the team all died or whatever, but Grant Morrison brought them back to life in 1989, and he added some new characters, which we'll get into in a bit, but one of his major changes to the status quo is something that the new HBO Max show hinges on. All those accidents that gave the Doom Patrol their powers but left them with horrible side effects? Surprise! All the Chief's fault. See, the Chief wanted to find a way he could live forever, and so each one of these experiments he did on people gave them eternal youth but changed their life so drastically it made it rather pointless. Sure, you can live forever as a robot, but what's the point if you can't get drunk at the strip clubs? So that's the main difference between Doom Patrol and the X-Men. In X-Men, the team generally respects Professor X. They follow his word, and he's a noble and just leader of the team. In Doom Patrol, the Chief is an asshole, and I hate him. Me and all my homies hate Niles Caulder. Let's talk about all the other characters, by which I mean Jane. Crazy Jane has 64 different personalities, each of them with their own superpower. She already had all the personalities, but Chief paid off a doctor to inject her with some drugs that gave each of them the powers, or it was from an alien gene bomb or something. Point is, she can swap out personalities and use powers like mind control, super strength. She can use lightning on a robot, or she can harness the power of the sun. The horrible side effect is that she can't always control which personality she is that day. The HBO series adds one more member to the team, Cyborg from the Teen Titans. In the Titans TV show, Cyborg was already absent, but they had a backdoor pilot for Doom Patrol that showed Beast Boy leaving the team, so this is like a trade. Titans gets Beast Boy, Doom Patrol gets Cyborg. Also, the two shows are not canon with each other. It's complicated. You guys already know who Cyborg is. He's a member of the Justice League sometimes. Yeah, the Zack Snyder Justice League is canon to the show, but the other show that had the same actors playing the same characters isn't, because comics. So the Doom Patrol fight terrifying villains like Nazis or Animal Vegetable Mineral Man or a gorilla and his gay lover, a brain in a jar. You may remember that Brain as being the main antagonist in the final season of the 2003 Teen Titans show, because why not, right? Anyway, the main antagonist for season 1 is Mr. Nobody. No, I'm kidding, it's the Chief. Mr. Nobody is the guy who desperately wanted to be in the bad guy team with that brain in a bucket, but they kept rejecting him, so his wife divorced him because she was fed up with being married to a nobody. So he took his money to a Nazi scientist and had them give him superpowers, but the Chief shows up, stops the experiment halfway through, and now Mr. Nobody is this broken, malformed thing, nigh omniscient, reality warping narrator. He just starts fucking with the Doom Patrol, but his main goal is to reveal that the Chief is responsible for all of their accidents in the first place, and to have them turn on each other. Then he kills them repeatedly with a giant robot in a musical montage. The show is fucking amazing. Please watch it. But why? Why did the Chief do these things? Why does he want to live forever so badly? Well, that's because he knocked up an immortal cave woman and she gave birth to Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. Dorothy Spinner is the main plot of season 2 of the show when she's reunited with her father, Chief Asshole Stupid. Me and my homies all hate Niles Caulder. She has 3 defining aspects, all shown in the season 2 opener. Number 1, she has her mother's beautiful eyes, surrounded by her mother's less beautiful face. I need to specify that's mere linguistic conjecture, not to be taken literally. You wouldn't think I need to specify something like that, but these are comic book characters, and a few years back, Joker did pull a Pavi Largo for a while. Number 2, Dorothy has imaginary friends she can bring into the real world, manifesting them for the world to see. She has a Wendigo protector named Manny, a giant spider friend named Herschel, a sexy little number named Darling Come Home, and the Candle Maker. Real quick, I almost forgot to mention that she lived on Danny the Street for a few decades while the Chief trained the Doom Patrol, and Danny is a living genderqueer teleporting street where people live and call themselves Dannyzens, like denizens, but on Danny. Drag queens and the like, it's whatever. And number 3, Dorothy is immortal. The Chief either wants to protect her from the world who would want to hunt her down, or protect the world from her insane imaginary friends. It's unclear half the time, but the main thing is he wants to live one day longer than she does. That's why he does all these terrible things, to protect his daughter. In the end, doesn't that make him really the hero that— no. He's a terrible person who experiments on innocent people's lives and ruins them. But isn't that so much more interesting than the X-Men? Imagine if the X-Men just suddenly revealed that Professor X was secretly the main villain the whole time. Doom Patrol is so much better. Plus, you get to have scenes with my personal favorite character, Willoughby Kipling, a drunk magician who uses bullshit magic. Plus, in the season 2 opening episode, he takes away Niles Caulder's immortality, making him the closest thing the show has to a real superhero act, aside from Flux Mentello making flowers appear by tightening his ass cheeks. God, the show is great. My name is Brian Atkins, and maybe if I start learning magic, I too can trick paraplegics into lowering their life expectancies. Please like and subscribe.